Hello, beautiful people. How are y'all doing? I am Dengar, and I am back with my second place at locals. I went 4-1. It's my blackwing build. It's technically blackwing bystial, but honestly, the first 3 rounds, I didn't even see a bystial in my opening hand until the 4th round, and I opened all bystials against floowanderies. The profile that I posted a couple days ago, that was Gage's first place profile. He was my only loss. So yeah, his first place flu list is up. If you want to check that out, also like and comment and subscribe to the channel in order to get more videos from my friends at my local game shop. It's called Tune Gaming in Taylor, South Carolina. But yes, this is the list that I got second place with. Went 4-1, only lost to Floow, which our game 1, I bricked on all bystials against a Floow deck. Fun. And he didn't shifter, so there was not really a target for that. And then game 2, I just outright killed him. He doesn't play hand traps in that build, so I was able to just set up in a way that he couldn't break the board, and definitely was able to kill him through damage. And then on the game 3, we both bricked hard, but he drew Rabina before I drew into any blackwing. I think I saw 7 tuners and no non-tuners, and none of the tuners were Vada. So I saw all 3 Shamals. It was quite bad. I think it was all 3 Shamals, the Assault Synchron, and then Ghost Ogres, and yeah, no non-tuners. But anyway, we'll go ahead and get into the profile. Yeah, it went 4-1. Honestly, the only change I feel like making to it is maybe drop the bystials and just play pure blackwings, throw in some more gas, some more protection, maybe cross out designators, stuff like that. But yeah, we'll get into it. For the monsters, you know, it's the normal stuff. We got the 3 Simoons. 3 Simoons are pretty standard. It's the best starter Simoon, the other best Sudri, the other best starter. Both of those 2 are just very good at starting. I can make a combo video on this for people who don't really know the combos just yet, but for this profile, I'll just quickly go through the cards. So Simoon is banish a blackwing out of hand for cost, place whirlwind straight from deck to field, normal summon himself or send himself to the graveyard. So you're going to go banish a card, place whirlwind. Placing it plays around anti-spell and other things like Diablees that care about you activating cards. And then normal summon him. That triggers the whirlwind. Search for Sudri. Summon Sudri. Sudri's effect on summon also triggers the whirlwind, but it'll also grab you any card from your deck that says Blackwing Dragon in its text, which means you'll usually grab Shamal with Sudri's effect, and you'll grab Vada with your Whirlwind. So then Shamal's effect, or Shamal, discard it from hand or send it from hand or field to graveyard in order to place Black Feather Whirlwind straight from deck to field. And then it has its graveyard effect of banishing itself from the grave when you synchro summon into a Blackwing in order to bounce a Blackwing monster from your graveyard to your hand. And then Vada is branded fusion, but you're synchroing specifically into Blackwing Dragon. That is the easiest way to explain this to your opponent. He is branded fusion. You use him and non-tuners from the deck to make Blackwing Dragon specifically. So since he's a 2, the non-tuners you send from the deck have to add up to 6 so that you make an 8 for Blackwing Dragon. Usually you go for Zephyros and one of your level 2 non-tuners. Zephyros, of course, is his bounce a face-up card summon himself back from the grave, take 400, but you usually have Blackwing Dragon to absorb the 400, and you're usually using that bounce as cost, which remember that it's bounce as cost. The main point of him is to get that Feather Whirlwind back to hand so you can reactivate it. So because he bounces his cost, even if they bystial him or whatever, you can still get that bounce off. So even though you don't get that extra body on board, you're still getting that reactivation of the Feather Whirlwind. Oster, personal favorite of mine, and I'm also playing one of the Chris. I'll explain that later, but Chris is just a free special summon from hand if you have a Blackwing on board. He's a level 4 body, can't die by spell and traps once per turn. And Oster actually puts in work. One, because on normal summon, he brings back a Blackwing monster that's banished level 4 or lower. So it can be Simoon's cost that you can bring back. But mostly he's for his graveyard effect. You banish him out of your graveyard to either put wedge counters on all monsters your opponents control for full Armor Master's effect, or you're using his other effect to banish himself out the grave to put black feather counters on your Blackwing Dragon equal to the number of monsters your opponent controls. Just doing this when your opponent has multiple monsters on board, just this and another level 4, make Blackwing Dragon banish this, burn them for a massive amount of damage in time. There's so many options that you can do with him. Putting those black feather counters on your Blackwing Dragon can also set up the protection from Black Feather Whirlwind. After that, Harmattan for your level 2 non-tuner, and Chinook for your level 2 non-tuner. That's also a hand trap. So mostly you want to send one of these two off of Vada's effect. Really, it's up to you on which one you're going to need, because you can search one through the combo and you can add one through the combo. So usually you're going to... I usually like to dump this, and then with the second summon of Sudri, I like to add this so you have a hand trap in hand. I know some combos do it to where you send this and then bring it back with the Black Feather Whirlwind on your opponent's turn, so you can still use its effect on field, because it's a hand trap in hand or on field to send itself to the graveyard. But either way, I like adding it to hand just to have that hand trap in hand. It is a quick effect if you control a Blackwing Synchro monster, so that's usually pretty helpful. But then just going second is just a straight up Veiler on your turn instead of your opponent's main phase. Next is the Sharnga. It's just a very good level 2 tuner that you can special summon by having a monster with 2k or more on either side of the field. So that's very helpful. It's also a very good graveyard effect. While you control a Blackwing Synchro monster, you can banish it out of the graveyard to pop any card on the field. That catches a lot of opponents off guard, especially with so many very powerful field spells going around. Being able to just pop that, like banish this, pop the Fluandere's map, was very helpful to just stop him from even trying to play the game. After that, you play... usually it's 2, but I've upped it to 3 Lubellions, 1 Magnemite, and 2 Druis Worm. I don't play the Soraneer because I'm not playing the Branded Beast, and I'm not playing a large bestial package. Like some people play 3, 1, 2, and 1 Baldrake and 1 Soraneer. And play the Regained and the Beast. I'm not playing all of that. Soraneer mostly when you want to use it, because when it goes to grave, you get to dump the Regained, and then Lubellion places the Beast, and then the Beast gets the Regained out the grave. But if I'm not doing all of that, because Beast is a bit of a brick, so if you're not playing heavily into the bestial side of things, then you don't necessarily need it. There was a few times that I was like, it would be pretty nice to have that once per turn pop a card by tributing one of these, and then they go special summon something or normal summon something, and Regained brings one back. So looping the Druis Worm with the Beast and the Regained is a nice combo, but unless you're playing heavily into the bestial stuff, then you don't need all that extra. Just these 6 is fine. And then So that gives you the 3 hand traps for that. Very good, especially against the voiceless voice deck, getting just banishing out Saphira. But then you also have 2 mourners, 2 ash, and that just rounds it out to main decking 7 hand traps, technically 8 hand traps, plus we are playing 3 imperms, so that's 19, 11. So yeah, that's a pretty good hand trap count. Ash is just Ash, but Ghost Mourner puts in more work in this deck than most other decks because of that burn damage. So a way that I've beaten Snake Eyes is to put them on so much. You hit them for 800 off the Nuthum, and then you have 2 Assault Dragons on the field, and they're taking 1400 every monster effect. And sometimes they think they can play through it and then get this like Flamberge Dragon or something else and like use anything to destroy your or attack over your 2 Assault Dragons without realizing that one, the Feather Whirlwind can protect them, but 2, when they summon Flamberge, they're by the time they get to Flamberge in the combo, they're usually lower than 3k. You hit them with Ghost Mourner and Moonlit Chill. Now Flamberge is negated and they take 3k. They're gonna try to not link him away in order to keep their life points, but you just go Sharnga, banish, pop, it leaves field, they take the 3k, you win. I won a match in game 3 against Snake Eyes because they didn't realize that this graveyard effect was live, because it wasn't until I went trap card, summon a blackwing monster, chain to the summon, banish, pop. So Ghost Mourners actually can be a win condition sometimes, might be worth it to push it to 3. But yeah, in this deck specifically, since you do so much burn damage, it's pretty good to have something like that that can just do a large chunk of burn damage, because these 2 in combination, you can negate their big monster, pop that big monster at the same time, and then just get a massive chunk of damage in. The last 2 are the Assault Synchron and the Radiant for the Small World Bridges. I like playing 2 Small World Bridges because you have weird stats. So you have multiple level 2s. You play 6 level 2s. So if any of those 6 level 2s are the Small World Bridge that you have to use, like you open a Bystial and or if you open all spell and traps and 2 level 2s, think of it that way. If you open Vada, Harmattan, and and 3 spells, one of them being Small World, you can't really do anything if Assault Synchron's your only if it's your only Small World Bridge. So we like to play the Radiant too, because yes, you can Small World into the Bystial, into the Sudri, but you want a Small World into the Simoon. So playing the Radiant lets you, no matter which of these cards in this deck are your Small World Bridge, you can Small World into the Simoon. Even if it's actually Lubellion's the only one you can't Small World into in order to get to it, but that's fine. Any of the other main monsters except the hand traps and Lubellion himself, all the Blackwings, of course, Radiant into Simoon. Anyway, the Assault Synchron actually came up using the Lubellion's effect to tribute a dragon type monster to summon itself back, because its graveyard effect is, if a face-up dragon synchro monster you control is tributed or banished, except during the damage step, you can banish this card from your graveyard, target one of those monsters, and special summon them back. So when you go, if you go Lubellion, tribute Blackwing Dragon, summon this back, banish Assault Dragon, bring back Blackwing Dragon, now keep extending even further. So yeah, it helps with certain combo lines and rerouting your combo after being hand trapped. That's the bulk of its use. Um, that's enough on the main monsters. The spells, 3 small world, of course. Small world being just like one of the best ways to unbrick your hand. Playing the 2 small world bridges gives you more options. I actually have one against Pearly, and what was it else that I won against? Oh, I won against Brandon in round 1 because he had Dragoons on board, and he knew that I had starters and ways to combo, so he was holding the Dragoons negation for those. But I small world and searched the Radian. That small world, him being able to bridge into a Radian, outs Pearly and Dragoons and pretty much any other big thing that you can't destroy by card effect. So that's pretty helpful. We play the 2 whirlwinds, of course. I still need a 3rd Spanish one. Shouts to Connect Gaming. I met him at a YCS in Raleigh, North Carolina. We swapped. I swapped him an English Ultra for a German Ultra, so that's pretty nice. We've got the Black Feather Whirlwind. I actually bumped this back up to 2. I've been missing that 2nd copy, especially when you get into grind games. If they pop this, it really sucks sometimes to just not have that extra recursion. But also, just playing through hand traps. A lot of the hand traps are like, if they're still playing Ghost Bell, they can stop one of them, but they're not stopping the other. And sometimes this just opening this, if they stop you from getting to Shamal, it still doesn't make you completely dead. Because yeah, you want Shamal's graveyard effect, but this being on field is more important. Then we play 2 prosperities. I've been thinking about going back to Allure of Darkness. I've been bouncing around back and forth between it for testing, because the extra deck space is tight. And usually with this, you don't want to get rid of 6. You almost always want to just do 3. So I'd almost rather just play Allure, especially since I'm playing the Oster. It's very easy to go Allure, draw 2, banish 1, normal summon Oster, bring that banished target back. So you're usually not missing out too much on that. Plus you're playing the 2 talents, and playing the 2 talents can also get you that extra 2 draws, or help you break the board or stop their setup. I got hit with 3 hand traps, and then I was still able to make my minimalist board, and then talents take away the starter out of their hand. They didn't draw a starter, and they were just dead in the water to my extra deck win condition. Regained. It's just very good. You got to remember that on normal or special summon, you can bring back one of your bystial monsters. But then the shuffle back when a light or dark is banished is pretty helpful too. 3 imperms and the 1 twin shadow. Twin shadow came in so clutch today. I'll explain more why in the extra deck, which we'll go ahead and get into. But it's very helpful for breaking boards, as well as making sure that you have follow-up for next turn. But with the extra deck, we play 1 Strix. Another reason that I was playing the Chris, sometimes you can't do the combo you want to do. So if you link into Strix, summon the Chris, Zephyros, bounce the Chris, and now you can just special summon the Chris again. That helps you get bodies rolling. IP Masquerena, it was decent. It's just the one time I made it, my opponent had droplets. So like, well, I'm actually thinking about taking this out for Topologic Bomber Dragon. Another reason for Twin Shadow, because on a simplified board, if I just go into Topologic Bomber Dragon and set Twin Shadow, I pretty much can destroy my opponent's entire main deck, or main monsters row. And so go Topologic Bomber Dragon, Twin Shadow, summon Full Armor Master to Bomber's zone, nuke all the monsters in the main monster zones. Full Armor Master survives. So now I just have 2 3K beat sticks on board. So yeah, stuff like that's pretty good. I might go back to trying that out. Of course, the SP Little Knight, you know, I pulled one. So if you can, if you can afford it or got lucky enough to pull it, then play it. But definitely not mandatory, but it's really helpful for dodging things like evenly matched and just very much disrupting your opponent. One Nathung, one Boreas Storm. These two, just your level 6s, burn them for 8, gives you the extra normal summon. Foolish Burial to change his level to that monster's level. You usually want to dump the Sharanga. He's also a Goyo Guardian, which came in handy one time. I ran over my opponent's Mud Dragon with him, and then took his Mud Dragon out of the graveyard, and now I'm just sitting on a Mud Dragon, and now I get the protections. That was interesting. I was happy about that. Like, he hit me with Super Poly, and then I was still able to make this, run that over, and now I have a protection card. So that was nice. Of course, the Blackwing Dragon. I'm only playing 2 Assault, so you only need 1 of this because you can recycle it through combo. I still play the Silver Wind, one because it's ulti and I love having a reason to play it, but also it's very good with the Twin Shadow at disrupting your opponent. This card made me almost want to play 2 Twin Shadows just because I wanted to summon this and summon Full Armor Master on my opponent's turn. Doing this against Tenpai, when they go attack Declaration, before you even get to the damage step, Twin Shadows, summon this, pop those 2 monsters before they can even synchro with them, because they don't before they redeclare, his effect will activate, popping the 2 monsters because they both have less attack than his less defense than his attack. They definitely, it's such a weird stipulation, having less defense than his attack. Most things have less than 2800 defense, so he can pop up to 2 monsters pretty easily. So that's a very good way of interrupting people, just clearing their monsters off the board. The Draco Berserker came in handy a couple of times, just with his banish effect, but also just OTKing through things, just running stuff over. The 2 Assault Dragons, one English, one Italian, both the Megaton Prismatic Secrets. They're nice. One of the Full Armor Master, he's just clutch. Floow has trouble getting over him. A lot of decks have trouble getting over him right now, especially if you play him correctly. Use him more as a going second card instead of summoning him going first. Especially with the Twin Shadow, you make him, and then if you can stop your opponent entirely, you can just use Oster's effect, banish it out the grave, give them wed counters, take your pick of their monsters, and just go ahead and break the board. Dissipator's just very good, especially for the combos in this. Really helps you extend, gives you the protection. If you get a chance to use the bystials because they like Veilered you or something, now you have a reason to, or now you have a way to set up his negation before they can start their turn instead of just using the pop. Chaos Angel came in clutch against Tenpai just because they didn't have enough gas to play through my interruptions and get to the Trident Dragon or the Transcend Drake. I was able to stop them short of that. And then nothing being able to die by battle, they weren't able to pop it with card effects. Being able to make him with Lubellion and a level 2 also is very helpful because now you're immune to their activated monster effects and won't get popped in the first place. And then for the main win con that I have been using, instead of doing the Kali-Yuga build, I have actually been playing 1 Mud Dragon, and instead of the Dragoons, I have been playing Invoke Kaliga. So what Kaliga does for you is it lets you set up your normal board. Don't go into Assault Dragon. Leave the 2 engrave so that you have Assault Dragon as follow-up. And you're going to make the rest of your board, the Dissipator, the SP, the Trap card, all that good stuff. But you're going to what you're gonna do is you're gonna make your combo, and then you're gonna end on invoke Kaliga. So Kaliga's effect is going to be both players, while this card is face up on the field, get one monster effect and one attack per turn. So I made this, and tenpai thought they could play through it, and then they realized, oh wait, Chandra attacking is my attack and my one effect. They got their one. They got to summon the Pedra. Couldn't search off the Pedra. They just had to end their turn. Like they had nothing they could do about it, and they had to pretty much use any droplets or other effect negations to deal with this instead of dealing with your other stuff. And when they leave the other stuff alone, that opens you up to being able to win. But a lot of decks, this won that game 2 versus Floow, because you can go Rabina effect. You're not getting any more effects for the rest of the turn. You can do a Snake Eyes Ash. You're not getting any more effects for the rest of the turn. And then the way it's set up is my one effect is going to be Protect the Castle. So my one monster effect is going to be either the Chinook in hand to negate your monster that would have negated this, or the Charnga in grave, because I'll keep the Nathung up or whatever other blackwing synchro on the field up, banish it out of grave to pop whatever monster's trying to attack over this. So they go Diabel's, summon the witch. Witch tries to attack over, banish, pop. Now I've used my one monster effect, but you've used your one monster effect and your one attack. And now you're dead in the water because this is safe. So this card, Invoke Kaliga, has been very clutch, and I very highly recommend that more people test it out, try it out. It's the same thing that you would do to do the Dragoons combo. You just swap Dragoons for this, because instead of Dark Magician, this is Alistair the Invoker. And it's actually easier to make than Dragoons, because you don't need a level 6 or higher Dark Dragon. You don't need the Bystial or the Blackwing Dragon. You just need this as Alistair the Invoker and any dark monster. Pretty sure you can figure out a way to get that on board. So yeah, I very much recommend that. So y'all test it out if you want to. I will go ahead and show you the side deck. It wasn't super useful because I didn't really see much of my side, but when I did, I saw it 2 times and it won the game. Lightning Storms, of course, good. Dark Rulers and Evenlies. I actually like playing 8. I usually play 6 going second and 6 going first, and then 3 utility to round out my side deck. But for today, I did the 8 going second, and then my 6 going first were Gravity Collapse. It's a counter trap, so they can't respond. When they would summon a monster, so any inherent summon, you send one face-up synchro monster you control to the graveyard, negate that summon, and then destroy that monster, and your opponent cannot summon for the rest of the turn. Just no summoning for the rest of the turn for them. I've had people go normal summon Rabina. Nope, dead. I've had them go normals, or I've had them go special summon Cartesia. Kill it. No more summoning for the rest of the turn. Fallen of Albeth, no more summoning for the rest of the turn. Doesn't matter what they summon, just when they would summon a monster or monsters, send the synchro, negate them, destroy them. They are shut down for the turn. 2D barriers, another shut them down for the turn card. And then we play the 2 Nemesis Corridor. I mean, just Simoon alone makes this card live. So if you happen to open it, it's very easy to use this. I've had Simoon, another Blackwing monster, a Whirlwind in hand, and Nemesis Corridor. Just full combo, and then top it off with a Thunder Dragon Colossus. Just, it wins the game. It might even be worth it to play 3 of these just because it's a level 4, so it's actually useful material on field if you play any Xyz monsters. But yep, that's pretty much the deck. Let me know what y'all think, if y'all like it, if you want to see the combo to end on the Invoke Kaliga, let me know, and I will demonstrate the most popular 2 combos that I did, the ones I did the most that gave me the most success. But yep, that got me second place at locals. I think it went pretty well, but if you have any questions, just like, comment, subscribe, leave them in the comment section, and I will be glad to answer anything. Peace.